Hey guys, I'm Manny G and welcome to my channel Growing Up with Disney. Originally I said I was going to do top 10 Disney Channel theme songs, but then I changed my mind because it felt like I've been there, done that, because I did it on my Instagram over a year ago and I actually didn't want to do it again. Then I said I was going to do top 10 worst Disney Channel Nickelodeon relationships, but I changed my mind on that because that just doesn't seem like a first video idea, you know? I gotta start with something else, you know, something that seems first. And you know what seems first? The top 15 Disney Channel and Nickelodeon pilots, because pilot the first episode of the show. That I'm a genius for saying that. I don't know why I didn't think of it sooner. So yeah, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter and my other Instagram, and I'll link those three in the description below, and also put it somewhere here on the screen. I don't want this intro to be like too long. Now I'm talking too much. Let's just jump right into the video.
You're gonna stay here in LA with me for a while and help me find a roommate? I already found you a roommate. Shut up! Who is she? Me! Oh my God! This is the best day ever!
I don't really think this show is that popular to many people because they like the original show. You know, iCarly and Victorious, you can't really beat those. However, I feel like this show kind of took two very different characters from those shows, and I kind of like their dynamic, and even Kat mentioned that in the show. But I feel like what they gave us in the first episode kind of showed what they wanted to do for the rest of the episode. It was just such a randomness. I kind of like Sam's character better in this and throughout Sam and Kat better than I did in iCarly, because in iCarly she was kind of rude, kind of character development, how she's like kind of different now, but she stayed true to herself in a way. However, I do feel like this show was just a bit unnecessary and it wasn't that needed, so that's why it's not really as high up as the other ones that I'm about to get into now.
Riley is the sun, warm and bright and lights up my whole day. Maya is the night, dark and mysterious. And the night has always been a mystery to me because I go to bed at 7:30.
I used to have strong feelings about this show, even though it wasn't as good now looking back at it. However, that pilot episode kind of displayed the foundation of what the show is trying to do. And the show is trying to focus on the friendship between Riley and Maya. Throughout the whole triangle, they try to be like, oh, well, Riley and Maya are still the closest friends. And they did that in this pilot episode too. What they did was Maya not feeling like she was good enough for Riley, and Riley being like, no, Maya, you always been good enough. It actually really showed how it was a spinoff to something, but it was something different. I feel like the name fit perfectly for how the show was like, because you know, it's a Girl Meets World. However, even though I was kind of like praising them for the whole friendship thing with Riley and Maya, I do think this is a show that did it better than what this show did with the friendship. But anyways, moving on.
We totally forgot about our fans. They get us. Can't believe we almost quit. Let's go back to Bugle and make the video we should have made in the first place.
Ooh, I know. You might be surprised because I do not like this show. And I'm pretty sure you probably don't like the show either, but the pilot actually gave me hope for how the show was like. Then it completely fell flat. And I was embarrassed because I was like, dang, the pilot's actually not that bad. Because as you can see, the show is pretty weird. Like, even the name it already shows you that it's a weird show. Like, what I didn't expect it not to be. However, in this episode, it kind of showed how they wanted to, Paige and Frankie wanted to stay true to themselves. But like, that may not bring in views. In the end, they ended up just being themselves in the show, and I feel like that worked well. And I really wish throughout the whole series they kind of kept along with that. I did like, what's the girl's name? I did like Frankie in this one episode because she was talking about her dad or whatever. There was something else. Anyway, moving on to number 12.
Sup, Diggy?
Sup, Bruni?
Stuff. So, what do you say? You, me, dance this weekend? Bam! What?
Oh, wow. This is kind of awkward. I just don't feel that way about you.
I actually remember where I was watching this because it came out after Teen Beach Movie, and that was my movie. So I was like, oh, what's this? Are they twins? They twins? I thought it was so cool that we had twins again on Disney. Because last one, there was Zach and Cody, and they were actually twins. But these, I wasn't too sure. I remember back then, I was like, oh, are they twins? And my siblings were just together, and they're like, nah, that's the same person. I was like, nah, it's not. They got different noses. I just made that up. But that's besides the point. I don't know why I was even talking about that. So I like that in this episode, they kind of started off with Liv being like the problem person, you know? because Manny was trying to talk about Diggy, but Liv wasn't really listening. And I just like how this kind of showed how Liv had room for improvement, and I like that she did throughout the series. Manny, on the other hand, was a consistent character. I'm not telling you if that's a compliment or not, but take it however you get it. And they have a nice family dynamic in the first episode of Living Manny. Like, they already set it up perfectly. And I like every character that appeared in the first episode. But anyways, moving on to number 11.
So, now you met the whole family. Forgetting somebody? Gabe, no. I didn't forget about you. I was just saving the best for last. Charlie, that was your younger, older brother, Gabe. You want to say something to Charlie?
You ruined my life.
Okay, so it's taking Gabe a little bit longer to get used to you. You're kind of a surprise.
That surprise was supposed to be good.
And cut.
Now, I feel like Charlie's birth could have been a part of the first episode, but I kind of like that they did that and then end up doing the little flashback thing later on in the series. But in this one, I really liked Gabe's role. His first appearance was Teddy introducing the whole family and stuff, and Gabe being like, "Did you forget about me?" And I like that they kind of stuck with that in the episode. It just like, it's kind of like foreshadow, kind of not really. I don't know what to call it, but I really like that they just did that. And Gabe is like the most iconic character in the whole show, and the fact that he was kind of in the spotlight, I liked it. I wasn't really checking for Teddy and Spider's relationship, but the Gabe storyline in this thing was great. I don't know how I feel about number 10.
I'm the good child. Make me brownies.
Release! Huh. Usually works with the dogs back home.
Hello, I'm Luke, and you are?
Way too old for you.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a fan of this show. However, the pilot episode was kind of good. I'm surprised that I put it before the other ones. But in this episode, I really liked Emma's role with it. The reason why they needed a nanny was because their parents were on and off. And I really liked that they showed Emma working on her little science fair thingy and then wanting her parents to come, and then Jesse ended up going. And I feel like this episode kind of showed off Peyton's acting ability, even though later on in the series they kind of threw that away. Oh, we have good actors? Oh, we're not going to use them to the best of their ability. But in this episode, I really liked it. This episode was more focused on Emma. And then I liked how in the last episode, it seemed like Emma and Jesse had like the closest relationship. If you only saw these two episodes in the whole series, you would think that they were like the best ever. This episode really showed you the amount of potential Emma could have had as a character. And then later on in Bunks, I kind of liked how Emma became. She was kind of more normal. She wasn't as annoying as she was in Jesse. But in this first episode, I really liked how all the kids were bad. Like their first appearance, all of them. But now we know exactly why they act like that. Because their parents are not really around, so they can act however they want. And they just wanted attention. In this episode, you see that Emma, she just wanted positive attention. She didn't do anything that bad. This was just her just wanting her parents to be there for her. And then thankfully in the end they were. I kind of wish they stayed consistent to that throughout the whole show. And number 9.
I think your arm's bleeding.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. That's what happens when I get wounded.
I'm Zoe.
Chase. So, are you like a new student here at PCA? Okay, that was a stupid question. I mean, why else would you be here? I guess you could be, like, dropping someone off, or, you know what? I'll bleed. You talk. What's up?
I liked how in the first person that she met was Chase. It just really showed us their whole little relationship. This was the start, and it started off greatly. You know, Chase just being Chase. He just ran into the pool, and Zoe being like, "Oh, are you okay?" But the outfits in this show, you see what Zoe was wearing? She was wearing like some little pink thing and like some blue skirt. Ew. Or was it a blue thing with a pink skirt? Anyways, the outfit was just ugly in this episode. Okay, I'm gonna excuse it, cause yikes. I really like Logan. He's just an interesting person. The whole idea of PCA was that it started off being for boys and then ended up being for girls. So of course they needed that character. I was like, I don't really want girls here. Like you kind of like guys are intruding onto what we usually had. Like Logan was always like that captain of the basketball team, but now Zoe and them are just, Zoe and these girls are just coming in, intruding on that. Zoe's just gonna tell you how it is and you gotta take it. It was perfect, because most shows, it seemed like they kind of wanted like the whole girl power thing into their show. This show, it made sense.
How would you like to be the newest vice president of Mad Style?
Quit playing.
I'm not playing. I want you to be my VP of Youth Apparel.
Well, I'll have to ask my mom, but that sounds great.
Now this is my show. I feel like this show it just had that extra something that all the shows need. This show, I feel like it was one of the only Nickelodeon shows that had a likable protagonist. Cause True, what is she? I don't remember her doing anything that bad. She seemed like a normal teen who just had this amazing opportunity. Ryan and Lulu were a little immature there, and even True was kind of immature. They still found their way to fit there somehow. But let me stop doing the talking. I'll let this scene from Glee tell you exactly how I feel.
Have you ever thought about what you would do if you landed your dream job as a big shot of a major company and you were only 15? I mean, how would you decorate your office? Who would you hire? True Jackson gets a chance of a lifetime when she's hired by her idol and made VP of his fashion part. And then every week she has to navigate this scary new world because True Jackson's gone from homeroom to the boardroom.
Carly will never love you. That's it! I'm taking my stuff and I'm going home!
Please stay.
This show, it started off with character. Every one of the characters that appeared in this show were great. It chose like some very good, iconic people for the show. Like it had Miranda Cosgrove, who was evil little Megan, and she came in as Carly, someone who's so normal. It was just weird. She ended up playing both the parts really well. And then they had Spencer. Spencer, he's iconic. Every last one of these characters are just completely different. They got Carly, who's the normal one, Freddie, who's the smart one, Sam, who's the mean one, Spencer, who's the weird one, and Mrs. Briggs, who's just the mean teacher lady. And they kind of show that every person is like unique, which kind of goes into what iCarly was all about. Well, iCarly, the web show, was trying to do. These kids are just weird. They're weird kids. They're unique beings. They should be able to be creative. I feel like those kind of tied in well.
Come in.
Thanks.
Tori, that's Andrew.
Andre.
Hey.
You go to Hollywood Arts too?
Oh, no, I'm not a performer. Just my sister.
Yep, I got the talent and she got the strong teeth.
I feel like this show, it really started off really great because Tori was a pretty normal person and like she's all up in this weird school. Like these characters are weird. I don't fit in. And usually these characters are like really weird and they don't fit into the normal crowd. But in this show, this normal girl doesn't fit in with the weird crowd. And that's just crazy to me that they kind of like switched it up. And I really wish that they kept up with this because along the way, Tori became more annoying. That performance in the beginning spoke for itself. It was pretty iconic. Even though most of you guys be hating on my girl Victoria Justice's voice and Tori Baker's voice, but we gonna act like that performance wasn't good or something.
I want you to be my partner.
Spend more time with you?
You're a songwriter with stage fright? I'm a singer who loves being on stage. We're a perfect match. What do you say?
We're partners.
Austin and Ally had a really good dynamic. They're such different people. Like you wouldn't really expect these two to somehow click. But in Austin and Ally, they did. And Ally, she's shy and awkward, and you can see how like she has room for improvement, and like we know she will. And Austin, he's just a cool guy. They need each other. You're a rocker, I'm a writer, so we're gonna be able to work together. Ally may not have the confidence to be able to go on stage, but Austin does. And Austin may not have the skills to be writing the way Ally does, but they still work together. And even in the writing process, she still needed extra help from him because he made the song faster and stuff, and he kind of popularized it. He may not have the skills to write, but he knows how to make it live and something that people would want to listen to. And also, they kind of put the chemistry in there a little bit, which I really liked.
Is that you? And that's you. Andy, I'm not your sister. I'm your
mother.
Even in just the first episode, this show already showed that I was way ahead of the other shows on Disney Channel. I'm better than you, I'm a trick. With just the one reveal of Bex not even being Annie's sister, but actually being her mama, which showed teen pregnancy in a Disney Channel show, which you would not expect. And Andy Mack kept up with that throughout the whole show, which is why I didn't even have any laugh tracks, which is constantly found in Disney Channel shows. It just had a different feel, a different vibe to it, because most Disney Channel shows, it just looks bright. While Andy Mack, it kind of had like a more chilled feel, but like more drama filled. But it still had a good mix of like the humor and stuff, even though I don't really think the show was that funny, but you know, it still had a good mix of that.
Hey, I have a lucky bracelet just like that. I loaned it to my best friend yesterday. Of course, mine says Lily on the back. Just like that.
In this video, I said that there was, in Girl Meets World, that there was a show that did it better. I'm talking about Hannah Montana. I don't know why I just assumed that this show was kind of start off with Miley just starting her secret. But like, she already had her whole little career, like I think for a year before that, and she just now telling Lily. Which showed throughout the whole show, Lily was always there for Miley. She was always a good friend to Miley. With Miley wanting to keep the secret because she wanted to be treated normally, even though she was pretty selfish and stuff throughout the whole show, which I ain't really like. However, the show still had a good premise, and I really liked the way they showed that friendship and how it carried on throughout the whole show. And even in the finale episode, with Lily originally choosing to go with Miley and not choosing to go to Stanley, because that's just what she does. Lily's always thinking about Miley. She's a good friend. But I liked how it ended off with Miley ending up being the one to, you know, this is what Lily wants to do. And that girl been with you all throughout those years, so you gotta do it too. Which it showed that through the beginning and the end, which I really liked.
I need to ask you something.
What?
Please, come closer.
What is it?
Will you go penguin sledding with me?
Sure.
I personally feel like I don't need to explain this one because the show is literally perfect. What do I have to say? The way it started off with Sokka and Katara, and Sokka being self-absorbed, he was putting his muscles through the water. You already know what kind of character he was. And he kind of called Katara freakish for having her little waterbending powers. Katara was like, "Nah, bro, you tripping. It's waterbending." I originally was not going to put this one on the list, but it deserves to be in it. I don't know, I'm starting to seem like it's in its own category. It started off with Sokka being pretty, like, you know, sexist, and Katara being pretty not sexist, and she's like, we offer women empowerment over here, you tripping. You see the way that kind of goes in throughout the show, with Katara ending up having to fight to be able to learn waterbending from Master Paku, and Sokka ending up with Suki, and seeing that girls are not as bad as what you think, so then stop talking all that mess. And they already laid it down in like their first few lines. And then Aang coming and saying like, "Oh, you wanna go penguin sledding with me?" But he's just a kid. This little boy is that big of a threat, like y'all crazy. Zuko, of course, going finally, just waiting for Aang to just come out. Even though I do say Avatar is the perfect series, I just really enjoyed the first episode of Big Time Rush. It perfectly showed the characters, you know, their dynamic, and how they're just some normal guys that just got a great opportunity. And it really showed Kendall's character a lot, because Kendall was the leader, and he really cared about his friends. Kendall, Carlos, and Logan just wanting to cheer James on, being like, "Nah, you can't do that. Follow your dreams. You want to be a singer, so then you should do that." When Gustavo ended up being rude to James, Kendall was defending him. And then the whole friend group ended up coming, and they helped each other out. That's just what they do, they're Big Time Rush. And then later on, when Kendall got the opportunity to go there, he was like, "No, that guy was rude to my friends." No, the episode was pretty long too, and I enjoyed myself throughout the whole thing. Thankfully, in the end, it all worked out for all of them, and they were able to beat Big Time Rush like they wanted. But there was one thing that I didn't like about this episode, and it was how Gustavo really said, "Carlos, you can't sing." You could have said that to Logan, like, come on now. You really better say Carlos can't sing. Just making stuff up. That's why I was about to put it at number 2. I was even about to put it at number like 10. But I was like, nah, I really liked the episode, so I'm gonna put it at number 1. Which I'm surprised about, because Avatar's my favorite show, so of course it'll be number 1. But I feel like I might look biased if I put it number 1. But anyways, this concludes my video. You can look forward to my next video a couple of days from now. I'm not sure, because I don't really have a specific day when I post. But I don't know what to say. So goodbye and have a good day.